crazy than attempting to online date in your 40s? I don't know, let me hear my single 40-somethings. Okay. All right, so a little bit of background. My husband passed away 4 years ago from cancer. And in fact, he passed away the week the world shut down. So March 7, 2020. So, you know, I was dealing with this just incredible grief and fear of living alone and fear of raising my 2 children by myself. And then, you know, let's just add a pandemic to that. Seems fine. And, you know, extrovert times 100. Let's throw her into isolation. So, you know, after the end for us was harrowing. So when he eventually passed, there was definitely a part of me that was relieved, right? Like, okay, Jenny, the worst thing has happened to you. There is only hope ahead. And then I started online dating. So I met my husband when I was 18. I was with him more than half of my life. So my frame of reference for my type was very specific. So I signed up for Tinder because that's the only one I knew. And within 4 hours in the greater Cincinnati area, I had over 1,000 likes. I don't know what to do with 1,000 people to filter through. So you gotta, women you have to have a filter. You have to have something specific that you can just shed 980. Right? So, my filter that I came up with, I was like, okay, my husband Mark, he was brilliant. He was an engineer with a master's degree in physics, and he was outdoorsy. So I'm like, okay, rock climbing engineer is my type. I just filtered 1,000 people down to the 20 rock climbing engineers. And it worked out great, you know. I dated 2 rock climbing engineers, and shockingly it didn't work out because I was mainly looking for Mark, right? And Mark wasn't there. Okay, so then I realized I had to pivot, okay? So I'm like, all right, Jenny, maybe you don't know what your type is. Maybe, you just gotta be open to the world, right? Okay? And here enters Graham. So Graham comes up on, I don't remember what app it was, Tinder, Bumble, they all blur together. But Graham was a British professional MMA fighter. With a master's degree. So I'm like, meathead with a master's degree, I can potentially work with it. So we connect and we hit it off. We exchange numbers immediately and it's going great. We're doing that stupid daily constant chatting. What are you doing? What are you doing? You know? And he's funny and witty and everything's going great. So 3 days of that, and then, 3 days later, the conversation shifts. And we're talking in the morning or whatever, when I should be working, whatever, it's fine. And he's starts railing against social norms. I'm like, and a little radar on my shoulder, this is probably bad. But I keep going, I'm like, okay. What are you getting at? And he starts, talking about helicopter parents and how they won't let their kids fight and blah, blah, blah. And in my head, I'm like, okay, so this is his thing, but also I'm a mom, and there's no fucking way I'm gonna let my kids in a goddamn cage match. And I don't know what to say to this, so I try to awkwardly relate, I'm like, because when my husband died, I think I said to him, okay, I do feel kind of like an outsider in my community now, because I'm a Midwestern suburban mom. My friends are parents, and all my friends were friends with my husband, and they see me, and it's just grief, and I see them doing that, and that sucks when your friends look at you and you're like, ugh, so it was awkward, but I tried to relate, okay? And he's like, got it. Oh, and it was an emotional thing. He's like, got it. I'm like, okay. And And then he's like, and here's my situation, ... And I knew those ... were not good. And, okay, before I tell you this, just know that my husband was the only person I had slept with. I had, I was raised pretty conservatively. I was fellowship of Christian athletes. And then Graham lays out this text. And he's like, so I live with my partner, but sex hurts her. So we don't sleep together, but we sleep in the same bed and do intimate things. But also we don't believe people belong to each other and that we need other people. And ideally, we'd really like you to consider her to be part of our throuple. Because my partner is bisexual and she wants to explore her feminine side. Dear reader, my first thought was like, does she do laundry? But I politely declined, and now, fuck, no. Sorry, it's fine. Just take off the points. Okay, so I'm currently dating, excited about a chain-smoking healthcare administrator from Pittsburgh.